My name is Johnathan Austin. I represent District 5 in the city of Birmingham on the Birmingham City Council. District 5 is the best district in the city. It's the center city, all of the neighborhoods that connect to downtown and downtown. And so if you drew a circle around the central part of Birmingham, that would be the district that I represent. And in District 5, we're alive. Transit is a huge problem. We're actually, the Birmingham Jefferson Transit Authority just voted to cut approximately 45 routes and lay off several people from the Transit Authority, drivers in particular, because of the lack of funding. And the lack of funding is not something that is specific to the city of Birmingham, but it's actually a state issue. And that issue is that Alabama is one of the only states in the country, I think maybe one of 4, that does not have a dedicated source of funding for transit. So that's a big problem when you're talking about getting people to and from jobs, and then even economic development. If you don't have a reliable transit system, then you're not going to have a walkable, sustainable, healthy community. You're going to have congestion and pollution. Well, I believe it's because of our 1901 Constitution. It's completely outdated. It needs to be thrown away and burned, and we need to start with a new Constitution. But of course, the major corporations in the state do not want to see a new Constitution because the Constitution is heavily supports industry, in particular steel, but even road construction and just things like that. And there's nothing wrong with supporting industry, but it shouldn't be at the detriment of the state and its citizens. And so where you see gas tax, road construction, a certain amount of money that's spent on constructing roads, the gasoline and all of those things, you'll generally see a portion of that money being sent to the state's transit authority. In our case, in the city of Birmingham, and the state of Alabama for that matter, we don't have that. So we have to redraft our Constitution, and it needs to include provisions that would allow us to have a dedicated source of funding for transit. Transportation systems and transit systems are not designed to make money. They're really designed to break even and provide a service to the citizens. We have one thing that I spoke about today is pollution. Pollution has very negative impacts on the city. One is obviously the health implications, but also the economic development or lack thereof, because businesses can't come into the city because we're at non-attainment. And also the fact that if you have an educated workforce, your workforce is making more money, and we're able to have better jobs and provide better educational opportunities for our students. And you also have, on the flip side, you have the parents who are more concerned about their children's education, so they're holding the school systems that their children are going to and those teachers and principals accountable to educating their children. So pollution is a huge issue in the city of Birmingham, and we're working strategically to try to tackle some of those issues by passing different laws and ordinances. One that I have in particular is called the Emerald City Ordinance that I'm looking to pass, and it would allow the city of Birmingham basically to regulate our own air quality. We have, actually, my district is experiencing a renaissance, a gentrification, if you will. There are more diverse people moving into areas that you've seen probably for the last 40 or 50 years that have been predominantly black or African American. Now we have everyone moving into our district or into our neighborhoods. It's very diverse, both racially, socioeconomically, but it's just a very diverse group of people that are moving into these neighborhoods. And again, it's because of the renaissance that's being experienced. People are starting to, the exodus that we experienced for the last 50 years of people moving from the city into the suburbs is starting to reverse. Many of my neighbors who live downtown are either empty nesters who once flew out of the city into the suburbs and have come back, and then others are young people like myself who were young professionals who moved into the city and then looking for jobs and have found jobs. And so and of course you have doctors, lawyers, but you also have police officers, firefighters, and teachers and nurses. But it's a very diverse group of people that are moving back into the city because they want to be closer to their jobs.
Okay. Is it possible for a child in your district to leave their home and return in 10 minutes with a popsicle?
In my district, yes. Where I live, in my neighborhood, I live downtown. And so naturally we have sidewalks and everything that would promote a pedestrian-friendly environment. But even in the neighborhoods that are in the district that I represent, they're walkable neighborhoods. So yes, it is possible for a child to leave their home and return in 10 minutes with a popsicle without any harm or anything being caused to them, without fear of them being hit by a car or ran over by a tractor trailer. There are bike lanes, and one of my campaign promises was to spearhead bike lanes. So we have a few bike lanes throughout my district now. We actually just won an award for a greenway that goes from 8th Avenue North and 14th Street to about 12th Avenue South and 14th Street. So the 14th Street corridor has received an award for its greenway space and the fact that it's very walkable and it's bike friendly. I was on it today just driving, getting on the interstate, and I noticed that we've put up signs that say, it says on the traffic lights, it says be courteous to the bikers or something. I can't remember exactly what it says, but I noticed it was alerting you that there were bikers in this lane, and of course there's a lane that's really wider than what you see most bike lanes being with bikers in it. And I ride it sometimes.